You know what's really funny about me is when I'm in a bad mood, I write the happiest sounding music.
Guitar Stories Podcast, your number one show for everything guitar.
Hello, Guitar Geeks. This is Dan.
Hi, everybody. This is Andy.
Hi, it's Yvette.
And welcome to the Guitar Stories Podcast, episode 8.
Yeah, we've made it past number 7, which, as we discussed last week, is the one that everybody stops at.
Absolutely. Well, usually we start off with new guitar days. Did any one of you two had like a new guitar day lately?
What's lately?
I have one coming in about 2 days. It's currently lost in the post.
Yeah, why not?
Does that count? A guy, I live in Austria, if you don't know, and a guy in Vienna has built a guitar for me out of skateboards.
What? Like old repurposed
Out of old
decks?
boards. Yeah, old decks. So the neck is made out of, I'm not sure at the body, but the neck is certainly made out of old decks. And it looks insane.
That's awesome.
I hope that the rough part is not on the side where you actually hold the neck.
I just cringed imagining that.
Oh, can you imagine sliding on that? Oh.
Something this episode.
Palm rash.
What type of wood is skateboard deck made from? I'm trying to think of how resonant it is.
I don't know. Someone listening to this is currently screaming at us again, which they do often.
It's balsa. I'm just kidding.
What? I don't know.
That's
an interesting question. Yeah.
If only I had access to the
going
internet.
There. How resonant is the wood? Sorry.
Hey, we're the Geek Podcast, so this is a totally legit question.
Apparently it's from hard maple wood.
Maple?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Nice.
Thanks, Google.
Well, congrats.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'm very happy about it. It's sadly lost in the post at the moment, so we're a bit worried. But hopefully next week I'll be saying, "Wow, this guitar is awesome."
I always wonder, like, what happens if, I don't know, like something just gets lost forever. I've never had that happen. Knock on wood, but knock on tone wood. Sorry.
You're fitting in right at home here, Yvette. Exactly right.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm a dad. Like, I'll probably make some dad jokes.
Oh man. What about you, Yvette? Any new guitars?
I mean, the only new guitar I have is probably my signature that I took home with me. Just like I guess it's like the proto of it. But yeah, I've been playing it. It's a bit different from the other Talmans that I have, but it's nice. It's like I think my other Talmans are the prestige level, and this one's just the premium. And it's kind of fun spotting the differences and like feeling them as well when I play. But that's, it's been fun, like covering it with stickers and trying to do videos with it.
Yeah. We've been geeking around already about your video, the Ibanez video.
Oh. Yeah, I wanted to do something a bit different than like everyone else and just have fun, make something kind of goofy and entertaining. Because I guess that's just, in everything I do, I just want to be a clown.
But it was not real
so
laboratory, right?
So good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think you posted some stuff of the behind the scenes as you were shooting it, and I was really intrigued, like seeing you in this mad scientist's jacket and thinking, what is she doing? And then seeing the result was even more rewarding than I expected. It was truly awesome. I love the way you transitioned from goofing around into, okay, here's the promotional bit, here's the specs and the actual guitar geeky stuff. But then you managed, you kept it light and funny rather than something dry and humorless.
Yeah, because as a YouTube video viewer as well, like I know that people's attention spans are pretty short, and people will tap out if it's just too sterile of a delivery or just too dry. And like, I guess I used to be a teacher, so I knew that kids would just not pay attention if it's just like, these are the facts. So I'd have to just trick them into listening to me. Being a teacher is just getting really good at manipulating people, manipulating children. Whoa.
I'm also an ex-teacher, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
What did you teach?
Music.
Ah, nice.
Well,
I
music
taught,
and performance, and using music as a therapy.
oh, that's awesome. I did the visual art equivalent of that. So I like was teaching kids how to kind of like, use visual art, painting and drawing as an outlet. It's important.
So is, and I'm so glad that I did it, and I learn, and I still learn from that thing that I learn and taught every day. Like I'm gonna get really sad now. Okay, this is a positive podcast, but sometimes as musicians, you think, oh God, this sucks. There are some things that we have to do.
Yeah.
And then you realize, hang on a minute, I've got a guitar in my hands, and this is the best thing ever. But you just need that little switch, and that reminds me of those kids back then, and how a child would come in, or a teenager would come in, and be absolutely miserable and angry and emotional, and then suddenly sit at a drum kit or a bass guitar or something and thrash the hell out of it, and then suddenly this emotion will be expressed. You're like, yes, more anger, more emotion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, to connect to that, the whole reason I took up guitar in the first place was because I was that kid, like I was really sick, and I had to live in a hospital for a while, and guitar was basically what I used during that time to just like keep motivated, and it became such a valuable outlet for me. Made me feel like I had control, like a voice. And yeah, I mean, it kind of gave me like a lot of really great coping mechanisms for a lot of things that I was going through at the time. And nowadays, like, I can't tell you how many times where I was having like the worst time or something really bad happened, and I just feel like super depressed. And I sit down at the piano, or I pick up a guitar and just like playing a little bit. All of a sudden, I just feel like the clouds clearing in my soul. So cheesy, but like, like it feels like the sun comes out.
How about you, Dan? Are you also that kind of, do you get yourself out of a funk by playing music, or?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, guitar for me is the number one outlet whenever I'm either depressed or in a bad mood. It lifts you up immediately. There's like, I mean, I'm a horrible painter and I can barely draw. So music is, so from the artistic sphere, music is basically the sole place where I can go. But yeah, for me, absolutely number one, no question about that. But I find it interesting that it really depends what kind of songs and music I play, whether I'm in a good mood or a bad mood. Yeah.
What's really funny about me is when I'm in a bad mood, like super depressed, low, I write the happiest sounding music. And I don't know what that is. It's just like, I remember some of the songs off our album that it's not out yet, but like all of the really happy, uplifting ones that sound like you're just like coasting along the ocean or something and in a convertible under the sun, like those ones I wrote like crying. Like I was so sad. But it's funny because you can't hear my tears. Like you just hear I think I'm like, I want to write the music that I want to feel. Like it's like a way to like manipulate myself into like feeling better, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Can you write a piece called "You Can't Hear My Tears," please?
Yes, 100%. That's my solo album coming out next year. You can't hear my tears. Stay tuned. Smash that like button. Subscribe. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Do you guys ever like, we were talking about how when we play guitar, it just kind of improves our mood. Do you guys ever have days where you hate yourself because everything you write sounds stupid, and it kind of puts you in a bad mood? Because I also have those days.
I've just had a day where I'm extremely pleased with my playing, and this is the first day in a long time. Like I'm very, very self-critical because I can't help but compare myself to others, even though I know and I have taught others not to do that. It's a totally fruitless endeavor, but I can't help it. it's part of me. Like, oh, that's not as good as him or her, and she's doing that, and I'm not doing this rubbish. And today I had a really good day. So yes, I do. But today is not one of those days.
That's awesome. I'm really happy for you.
Thanks. I'm hoping tomorrow will be the same.
Keep it up.
And if I can say thank you to one guitar in particular without mentioning it, but as we can see each other, I'll show you which guitar it is.
I know what he's going for.
This one.
Wow. Is that a semi-hollow, full hollow body?
Semi-hollow, AS63.
Yeah. We're not supposed to say what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because Dan gets penalized every time we talk about Ibanez.
Wait, really?
No.
I was like, don't you work for Ibanez? That'd be twisted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fun game that I like to play.
Gotcha.
It just measures the time span. It takes me until I mention Ibanez first in the podcast, which can vary between 26 seconds and 40 minutes.
26?
Oh.
You very rare. You went it once with that 26 seconds.
Yeah.
You know the meme with the guy who's like, that? That's how Dan looks after about 10 minutes of not mentioning Ibanez.
Oh, like just congested? Like.
Yeah. Must say the I word.
That's the thing. If you not just work for the company, if you really like the guitars and you grew up with it, it's part of you, and it's also why it's so uplifting. Yeah. To me, like picking up one of my go-to Ibanez guitars is probably one of the reasons why I'm so positive, and it gets me all those memories back from my childhood, from playing with other people. So it's not just a piece of wood, and it's not just a moment. It's also all the memories and all the history that went into the instrument.
That's beautiful. It's awesome working for a company that you actually like really are passionate about, because then it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's right. And same goes for your Talman. That's probably like the Mad Scientist video will always, stick to that guitar and will always be part of the story of the guitar, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, I just want, because the color already, it's like you can tell it's not like a. I don't mean this in a derogative way, like, but it's not like a serious guitar. It's not like, the kind of guitar that like a blues dad will just have hanging up on his wall to show people who come to his house. Like, It's a guitar that you're meant to just like play a lot, and it looks fun. So I wanted a video that kind of just matches that attitude.
Yeah. I love the sound, the bubbling sounds in the video, because that's, to me, when I see your guitar, which if you haven't seen it, dear listeners, it's like a toxic sparkle green. Like the sort of thing that would come out of your body if you were super ill. And that bubbling noise just fits the guitar perfectly. It's like there's a comic book called The Toxic Crusader, and it would be like, it's sort of that kind of motif.
Have you guys seen that movie Flubber?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Flubber green.
Yeah.
Sparkle.
But with sparkles. Rolled in sparkles.
Yeah.
Do you think there will ever be another color?
Ooh. I mean, yes. It's a high likelihood.
Would you want to?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a bunch of ideas in mind. I've got this tangerine sparkle one. Everyone calls it the dog ash guitar because I did a Premier Guitar Rig rundown, and I made a bad joke. Sometimes I don't think about what I'm saying, and then it gets recorded and put online forever. And I made a joke that I put my dog's ashes into the guitar on YouTube, and now everyone calls it the dog ash orange guitar. So I think I might just release it as the YY dog ash guitar.
Perfect.
For the record, I never had a dog, and if I had a dog and it died, I don't know if I'd put the ashes in a guitar. For all those animal rights people listening.
Oh yeah, there's many animal rights activists listen to this podcast. The Venn diagram of crossover is insane.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, what would be the intersection of animal rights activists and guitar geeks? I'm just curious on that statistic.
I don't know, but I don't know. Let us know if you're listening and you
Yeah.
you love furry things and also things with strings on.
Yeah.
Or maybe Billy Gibbons.
I was about to say, it can't be the very same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well,
So we've gone so far on that tangent now that I can't come back. So I'm going to have to sit out for a moment and just think about that while you two carry on.
Okay.
I'm off. I've gone into that world and I can't find a way back.
that's probably the right time to introduce our guest for today, because we're quite a few minutes already in the podcast, and we haven't really properly introduced Yvette. So, dear listener, dear audience, our guest for today is the wonderful Yvette Young, Ibanez artist,
Hi.
musician, talented painter, and multi-talent in so many ways. Thanks so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'm sure there are many people listening thinking, who is that Yvette woman that's talking right now? Who is it?
She hates dogs.
Hates dogs. She's got some kind of green Ibanez signature. Who could that be? Yeah, welcome. So you're currently in the USA, is that correct?
Correct.
Where are you? Where are you right now? Like, not specifically, but
I was gonna say sunny California, but it's not very sunny as I look out the window currently. It's quite bleak, but weird times, right?
hella weird.
Hella.
Like, is it like you were due to be coming over to Europe around about now, or maybe you would have been here around about now? Is that correct?
Yeah, we were scheduled to go to Frankfurt for Music Miss. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah.
But I think it's good that it got called off, because better safe than sorry. I was really looking forward to it. I love Germany, really. Like I've been to Berlin, and I've been to I forgot the name of the town, but it's where that piano company C. Bechstein. There's I was with my dad at the factory there, and it was like such a beautiful little countryside town. But I was looking forward to going back and visiting. I suppose, another time.
Yeah, we'll bring it back so you can go to where is it? Frankfurt, yeah.
Frankfurt, yeah. I just want to live there for a bit. I don't know. I need a change of scenery.
I think you would fit, and Berlin would fit you absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite cities in the world, and I think that having known you a little tiny bit, you'd certainly find Berlin interesting.
I just remember the last time I was there, I just met up with a bunch of online friends that I've never seen in real life before, which now in hindsight was very dangerous, because I was by myself and they could have totally been serial killer, crazy murderer people. But I trust Germans. And I had the time of my life. I went to this house show thing. It was a big music gathering, and it was a hardcore show, and I just remember hearing dudes screaming in German, playing breakdowns, and I was just what am I doing? I don't know what these people are saying. I don't know anyone here, but here I am just at this hardcore German show. Sick.
Those are the best times, man. Those are the times we live for.
Yeah, you never know.
No, that's living. That is. I love those times when you just go and say, okay, this is where I am right now in this moment. Everything I've done in my life has brought me to this moment right now, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you can't. Those experiences are priceless.
Yeah. Actually, now I'm extremely envious and itching to go and do that.
Well, when the world opens up again, hopefully soon.
I have a way of dealing with that, actually, with this quarantine thing. I slept with my feet where my head should be and my head where my feet should be.
Wow.
That's a whole different world, man. Yeah.
You're out of control.
I know. I mean,
wow.
I don't like to show off too much, but...
I'm calling the police.
That's living.
Actually, Hamburg is also a very nice city to be in. Have you been to Hamburg before?
I haven't. I've never done a European tour, but I was I'd be so excited to do that. I think we had one kind of planned, but then this whole world pandemic thing kind of shook that up. So hopefully one day I can still do that Europe tour. I don't know. I just really love traveling abroad, experiencing a different culture. I feel like I always learn so much from those kinds of experiences. So maybe one day.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the perks being an artist that you get to see a lot of cool places, right?
Oh yeah. And I don't know, like sometimes I ask myself like do I want to stay in the US? Like would I even like want to move to Europe for a little bit or move to I don't know, Australia, somewhere random. I don't know if I want to like live here forever.
Mm.
It's kind of nice just like living in different places for a little bit to like feel inspired. I don't know if you guys ever change up your environment to kind of feel more inspiration, but I have this like weird fantasy of going to Iceland and just shutting myself in an Airbnb with an upright piano and just writing an album for like a month. Like that's the kind of weird shit that like I want to do. If I had a lot of money, I probably could do that, but you know.
Well, I hope the upcoming album goes well so that you can do that.
Oh yeah, you think I'm gonna make money from an album? Like, good one.
All right, I retract that. I hope that it brings you luck so that somehow someone hears it who lives in Iceland, who runs an Airbnb and says, hey, I like this. They should come and live with us for a little bit.
That'd be amazing. I do have some friends there who I think would be down, but also like I'm weird and I never want to impose and be a burden. Like I feel like I would just be really annoying. It'd be like 4 a.m. and be like, can you stop playing piano? Like we're trying to sleep.
Oh, wow. I can totally see you there.
Yeah.
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 Just you know, melancholic.
Big jacket with fur on it.
Yeah.
Black and white video, of course.
All my favorite composers are from there for some reason. I don't know. Something must be in the water.
Hmm.
Isn't it something to do with the amount of sunlight they have?
Maybe. It's quite cloudy there all the time, right? It's kind of more somber.
Yeah, I'm totally uneducated in that area, but I'm taking that as an uneducated guess. I've collected information from somewhere. That's Andy's version in his head.
Maybe Yvette has to go to Sweden. You know, all the big pop acts, they come from Sweden, so you make money there if you write music.
Oh, yeah.
Aber
I would love to visit Sweden. I just think like Scandinavia in general is like fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know. All this talk of travel is like a massive blue ball right now. I can't.
Yeah.
Are we just? I don't know. Are we just injuring ourselves and because we can't? Is it the more you can't have something, the more you want it?
Yes, reverse. It's absolutely like that. Because like my normal life is just like, you know, I stay in. I don't hang out with friends. Like I'll hang out with friends to like eat a meal, but then I'll be like, I have to go home and work, and then you know I'll do that. I'm kind of like a shut-in, recluse, idiot, loser. But you know, now that we have to do that, I'm just like, I want to hang out. I want to like go outside. Totally rebelling. But I've been good. I've been staying in and you know just working on music and watching Tiger King and other things on Netflix.
Dan, have you watched Tiger King?
Not at all. Is that
Andy
good or is that bad? Tell me.
I can't read his emotions right now. He's like having a breakdown. Like, are you okay?
I feel so much pressure to watch Tiger King. It's unbelievable.
Oh, none of you have seen it.
No, I know it exists. I have Netflix. I have a short amount of time in between the time I go to sleep and wake up again where, you know, I could sleep or I could watch a program about Tiger King. And I've only ever seen his music video, which was insane.
Brilliant. Right? The
so
production.
I'm hooked. Absolutely hooked.
I will say that prepare for an emotional roller coaster because it starts out like kind of normal. You're like, okay, like what's the big deal? This guy's a little flamboyant and he likes tigers. Like, cool. And then you're like, holy shit, by like episode 2. So buckle in for a wild ride.
Can I ask you, can you choose between Tiger King and Game of Thrones? Like, emotional.
Okay, you know what? I actually made this exact comparison while I was watching Tiger King. Tiger King is like if Game of Thrones took place in a wildlife sanctuary.
I'm in. I am so in. Right.
Yeah.
We got
And instead of like medieval looking people, like it's just like very swag rednecks.
All right.
I have a worry that that's going to infect fashion sense in the next few months.
Oh, I'm already down. I'm already, piercing everything in my body after this. After watching it, I'm thinking of getting a tribal tat on my lower back and just
yeah, ironically, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
No,
I actually quite admire the main guy's fashion sense. I think there's something beautiful about someone who just like is unapologetically them and just like does not care what anyone else thinks and just wears whatever they want.
Hell
I mean,
yes.
I respect that kind of attitude in like anything, not just fashion, like even in like music or like art, just like people who are just fuck the rest of the world. This is how I am.
I am so envious of those people. And
yeah.
And some days I do have a bit of that, but it's too much overthinking going on underneath the surface of me, like emotionless on the surface. But I would love to rock some. Well, saying that, I've got this stupidly big hair that people comment on all the time.
It's cool.
That feels like therapy now.
I think it's cool. I think you should own it. I think
I absolutely
whatever you've been wanting to wear and do, you should, after this call, I think you should just go do it.
Why is it that dungarees are the first thing that comes to mind?
You could pull that off. I think you totally could.
I'm thinking Robin Williams from Mork and Mindy.
Oh, I've never seen.
It's rocking dungarees and a striped tight 70s t-shirt. It's awesome.
I back it. I mean, now is the time to do it, right? No one's gonna see you. You're alone. So
I kind of have a YouTube channel where I make videos every day. So yeah, they do.
Okay, well.
And on the other hand, other people have made a career out of wearing like ugly sweaters.
Some people have. You're right. Some people would say that without those ugly sweaters, there's no actual content going on underneath it. But But that would be mean.
If someone watching your show is going to judge you just for wearing dungarees, then maybe that's not a person you want watching your show anyway, because that sounds judgmental and closed-minded.
Yeah. And I'm going to write that when someone says, "Look at your stupid dungarees." I said, Yvette said it was good.
Oh, I'll go on. I'll hop on and I'll call them out.
Yvette, help! They're picking all my dungs.
I love that. I love, like, sometimes I imagine, like, YouTube is just like a cesspool of awful comments. Like, and I just, in general, I don't read them, but sometimes people like screenshot really bad ones and send them to me. And I love like imagining what I wish I could say, and I type it out, but then I just don't send it. I
allow myself one per month. Like I do.
Really?
I deal with a lot of this stuff. It's some.
Yeah.
It's horrible competitiveness in the guitar world when it shouldn't be. It's just everyone having fun. But then you get somebody who's, I don't know, maybe not having a good day, and they might write down, well, yeah, your A minor chord wasn't exactly fingered correctly there, or you look like Napoleon Dynamite. Why are you doing guitar videos?
What? I think that's cool.
But everybody that says that, like, I'm the first person to say this.
Yeah.
And I allow myself one thing that I really want to say per month. And mine happened 2 days ago where I told them to suck my thing.
Bellend.
Bellend! Haven't heard that word in ages.
Knob.
Brittany.
Yeah, that's you have a lot of self-control. I know I'm always fascinated when people end up leaving paragraphs and paragraphs of just something that's like very negative, because I'm just like, that took a lot of organization and thought and time to like do.
I love it.
And you see people arguing with each other like paragraphs and paragraphs over something as like dumb as like a fretting position. I'm just like, okay.
I
You
like
guys have
putting
one
away
time?
like false facts, or like I use a few amps that are solid state amps, and I turn them on and pretend to wait for the tubes to warm up, and that infuriates some people. So I'm like, I'll just turn the katana on and wait for the tubes to warm up. Did he save tubes? There's got no tubes in it.
Oh my gosh. But
I love it.
At this point, you're probably doing it passive aggressively just to like continue giving them aneurysms.
I think bottom line, and this goes for everything I do, if I'm having fun, then the people watching might be having fun as well. And
Yeah, that's my whole philosophy.
yeah, that's my goal, man.
I remember people made so many comments about me not being plugged in for a playthrough where I'm like, but like even the newest music video that we released, it's us shooting each other with lasers and fire in a junkyard, hopping around. There's no way I could have plugged in. Like I'm literally jumping off of cars and like doing like flips and shit. Like how can I plug into an amp? Like so for the premise of the video, we're just like, all right, just suspend disbelief, please, and just have fun. And people were like, she's not even plugged in, she can't play. And we're just like, I remember just getting so many of that kind of dumb comment. And so I released a playthrough a while back that was me pretending to plug in. I made like a Vox amp out of snow. And I like made like, I like did, what is it called? Like Foley, where it's like, I like I had a twig and I like, it sounded like a tube amp warming up. And then I like cranked the knobs and I like played out of this snow amp just to be like, you guys like lighten up. Like, it's a music video. Like, chill.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure that comes with being like, I don't know, just like someone who's a YouTube personality. I can imagine like just having to deal with, people leaving their opinions all the time and trying to tell you what they want to do. And just, I don't know, you have a huge audience of people watching you.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's about entertaining people and not about arguing page after page after page. So.
Yeah.
Unless that's entertaining.
Yeah.
So yes. Small caveat, unless that's fun.
My favorite thing to say to someone who leaves like paragraphs upon paragraphs of their opinion is just like, you're wrong, period. Because it's just like...
Oh, that will be the episode title. I'm just making a note right now. You're wrong, period.
Like, no, nothing to back it up, nothing to like argue back, just you're wrong, period.
Lovely.
So use that one in the future, Andy, if you get like a hater.
And you can add approved by Yvette Young.
Yeah, I'll like it.
Stamped. Yeah, well, I'm lucky enough to have it sounds rather negative, but I'm lucky enough to have a very nice group of people that subscribe to my channel. And generally speaking, we're talking like 99% of people are absolutely lovely, and I'm very lucky. And there's some real like online people that we're now kind of friends, close, in the online world, and they're great people, and they always outweigh the negative stuff. It's fun to joke about trolls and stuff, but I just want to put in that most people that I interact with online are actually really nice people. And
yeah.
I wouldn't do it otherwise. If it was too much negativity, then I'd move on and do something that was fun.
Yeah, of course. I think like, majority of I don't really read my comment section all that often, but from what I've seen, like people are very effusive and supportive. I think just being a girl, I don't know, like inevitably you get some people just being an asshole in the comment section sometimes, but you win some, you lose some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it when people write, sorry we're staying on this for a long time, but I like it when people write in the comments, he or she, when they're referring to you that's in the video, because they're like, dude, I'm reading this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I think they do that more with women than they do with males. Like,
oh yeah.
Like she,
for sure.
Because she's not able to read a comment, or she's not in charge of her social media or anything like that. So
yeah.
But I find that really super weird.
There's been a few times where people will say something kind of like disrespectful, and I will say something, and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea that you would see that. That's not what I meant. I actually meant like just backtrack."
And then you get a DM. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Very accurate.
Oh yeah.
So, Eddie, do you regularly check comments under the videos?
Every day, every minute, every second.
All
No,
right.
I check every day, mainly because to grow a YouTube channel, you have to, and to do anything in a creative way, you have to interact with the people who are interacting with you.
Yeah.
And in fact, I watched a video by some guy who was advising YouTubers, and he's got quite a small channel himself, but he's really funny, and he was talking about how you have a relationship with your fans, or I hate the word fans, but the people who digest what you do, whatever it is that you do. You're kind of in a relationship, and you get to choose like how far that relationship goes, but also you kind of have to be attentive but not annoying, and you don't have to nag them or suddenly surprise them with something that is unexpected. And it kind of opened my eyes to the level of dedication that some fans have, and not particularly mine, but I mean for musicians and stuff, where if I think back to my bands that really inspired me, and Nirvana being number one, I would have done anything that those people would have asked me to do. And it's insane the level of fandom that exists, which maybe is diluted these days a bit, I don't know, but I had such a strong feeling for Nirvana, more so than my own family at some points.
I hope your mom's not listening.
Actually, she does listen.
Oh.
And hi, Mom. And she understands. She knows that Nirvana gave me something that changed my world. But she gave me my world, so Oh, Mommy.
No. Greetings to Mrs. Ferris.
Hey, Mom.
You got a lovely son.
I think with that being said, that it makes it even more important to I don't know, if you have that sort of following or platform. This is something I think about all the time, but like you have to be like really responsible with it, because a lot of people are modeling their entire careers after you. A lot of people are like literally asking for advice all the time. A lot of people like they're just watching your every move, and I don't know, just I'm not even saying this is me. I just imagine anyone who is in a position to be like some kind of role model, like it's really important to be really deliberate about what you put out there online and really careful about every interaction you have. I remember when I first made my Instagram and stuff, like I posted a lot of just like my dumb thoughts, and like I still post my dumb thoughts all the time. I'm like shit posting all the time actually, but like, sometimes things that, I think are funny, maybe like, I don't think are appropriate for like someone who's younger. These are just like random things I have to think about all the time now when I make something. I'm always trying to think like, is this setting a good example? I don't know if that's something that you experience with your channels or anything.
Yeah. What I like, I think, is that for me and for everybody, I guess, that Instagram and YouTube and everything is a promotional tool on a certain level.
Yeah.
But by keeping it authentic and by keeping it real, and like for sometimes I have weird, strange thoughts, and I find weird, strange things funny, and I would post it, and then I stopped posting this stuff for a while, thinking, well, that's not helping me forward my career. And then I thought, well, hang on, as you just said earlier, Yvette, like those are the people that find that funny. Those are the people I want to hang out with, virtually. So yes, I think you should be, or one should be. Hit my mic then. One should be posting that, because I don't know, it breeds who you are. Sorry, I'm blathering.
Oh no, I super back that. I've been really fascinated actually, just like, I don't know, experimenting with how I treat the content I post, because like, I feel like maybe a couple of years ago I would be too shy to like do something a little different or do something kind of goofy and polarizing, I suppose. But more and more I'm realizing that like, I don't know, for me, being an artist, being someone who puts out music and puts a bit of myself out there for everyone to judge and consume. Like it's kind of easy to get preoccupied with like what everyone else wants, and then in the process kind of lose your own artistic identity. Maybe like I can imagine that if I started making things that everyone wanted me to make, I would just lose my passion for it because I feel like a slave or something. So I've been kind of fascinated with like, what's a good compromise? How can I, still really authentically be myself, but also not like alienate certain people? And at the end of the day, I realized that like, I feel like as an artist, you actually have a lot of control as to like who your fan base is, because if you were just like true to yourself and you just put out things that you back and you're confident about, then I think like, I don't know, naturally there's so much art to consume. There's so much music out there. Like this just like, I don't know, it's like oversaturated almost. So if for those people who don't necessarily like what you're doing, they can go listen to like something else, and then you're left with a really little group of people who back everything you do. Because they're like, I don't know, they're with you on your journey no matter what.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the 1,000 fans theory?
No.
Where an artist can survive with 1,000 fans, but those 1,000 fans are, as you just said, true fans and back whatever you do. And if you think about that, and you have 1,000 people that follow everything you do and love what you do and are totally dedicated to your art, and they spend $100 a year, that's $100,000. And that's enough,
crazy.
That's more than enough money to live one's life and continue to be an artist.
Now I'm wondering, where did my $100,000 go?
It's insane, isn't it?
I think the fan base Andy's talking about is like the ones that unconditionally love and adore you and are like behind everything that you do. So it's kind of, it takes some time to build up that fan base with that depth. And also I think from an artist standpoint, to me, I always find it pretty important as an artist to, be aware of the fact that you have a voice and use that voice. So it's, as soon as you're in the stage light, you have some responsibility also to articulate yourself and to, educate people and to stand for certain things and to have an opinion about things, and to really not be that kind of flat media character basically, but being a human being that has like beliefs and has some opinions, and they are behind it, and they discuss about it, and they make people think about certain points.
Yeah.
And
100%.
Yeah.
I think like even like beyond speaking, it's like, I think what really impacts people is just like you even just showing with like your actions. Like there's certain things that like, I feel like I really back, but talking about it is awkward. So I feel like in everything I do, like those values, I just want to show people like, being authentic. That's something that's like, it's difficult to kind of just be like, just be real, be you, be authentic. So it's like even more important than like telling people that. As an artist, I feel like I can just like demonstrate that by doing weird off the cuff things that maybe other people wouldn't want to do. But I'm like, this is just what I like to do. And this is like the kind of industry I want to survive in, one that where we can have fun and like, experiment with different things. Like even like releasing my signature guitar, like maybe, at first I was like, oh, a lot of people are going to hate this sticker idea because like, a lot of people kind of view their guitars as like cherished instruments that can't be scratched, and you got to polish it every day and like sleep next to it at night and like stroke it like I don't know, a romantic partner or something. But I'm just like, I don't know, I kind of want to encourage people to just like to experiment with like customizing their gear and like have fun, trying to find like, I don't know, an identity, try to think about what it means to be like an individual. I know it's kind of cheesy, but those are all values that like I would want to embody, that I hope that I can like translate to whoever is watching and encourage them to experiment with that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Actually, like 15 years ago, Ibanez had a very similar campaign where they had sticker sheets that they provide in magazines, and you were supposed to customize your guitar. So that was kind of in this spirit. And I really like the idea.
I didn't know that. That's so
Yeah.
funny. I know Dario has this has guitar tattoos. Like they're kind of funny, but then they're all like skulls and like flames and
Yeah.
like just super hyper masculine like bad boy rock and roll tattoo. I think it's funny.
The
Flaming
motive,
dice.
yeah. The motives that you chose for the guitar, are those actually like just your paintings, or do they resemble some tattoos that you actually have on your skin somewhere hidden?
Um, I feel like a lot of the tattoos I have I actually like designed myself. But the ones that I decided to release for the guitar, it's just like random doodles that I've done, or like it was difficult trying to think like how can I make it genderless, like because if I have too many flowers, I really like drawing flowers, but I feel like that would alien a lot of metal dudes who are like flowers, that's not hard, like so I was trying to think of things that I could draw that were kind of like genderless and like that everyone would like. This would have like mass appeal.
Hmm.
I like the stickers. I love the sticker idea. I'm not a guitars are precious kind of person. I used to be, and it was more a case when I'm lucky enough to have a guitar collection now, and
Yeah, see.
when I had just the one, it was like I've got to look after this because if it breaks and I didn't know how to fix it back then I am screwed. I am totally without guitar, and I can't imagine a world without guitar.
Yeah.
And then now that guitar is still with me, and it's not even on a stand. It's just thrown in the corner. It's a Fender Telecaster from the 90s, and it's just in the corner by a workbench, and I regularly drop screwdrivers on it because they sort of just fall over the side of the bench.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, sorry. And the guitar's like, it's cool, man. I'm still here. And like,
Relict.
I don't know. It's the stickers I love. I love the fact that you get a little bit more of Yvette Young with your guitar. You can choose to be like looking at the photo. Imagine someone looking at photos of your approximation of the stickers and put them exactly where you've put them. And then someone who just goes, I want that one there and that one there and that one there. And it gives people a freedom to explore an instrument or explore a thing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
I was also thinking, like in everything that I did, that I decided on in designing this guitar, I was thinking about like my demographic is a lot of younger people, like it's a lot of like newer generation guitarists, people who maybe like are coming out of high school and want to like learn guitar for college, or people who went to a show and saw a cool band play and they like want to pick up guitar too. That's like actually how I started playing guitar. Was I went to shows and I was like, I want to do that. So just with that in mind, that's why for my guitar I decided I wanted to do like a really fun bright color, because I feel like a lot of younger people would find that inspiring. And then I wanted to do the sticker set because it kind of ties together like visual arts, and I feel like who doesn't like stickers. And then even in the price point, like I had the option of making it more of like a prestige price, but I was thinking that would alienate a lot of younger people, because I know for a fact that when I was in college I didn't have a lot of money. I mean, I still don't have a lot of money, but like just I didn't want to like make it so that people, I just want to encourage people to want to play, and I want to make it so that like they can actually afford what I'm putting out there.
And it feels great. I mean, we checked it at NAMM and it feels rock solid, and it's got some weight to it.
Oh yeah.
It's also quite surprised. It's not like that kind of super lightweight, slim guitar. It's it's got some kilos to it, which is
I
cool.
love that. I don't know if this is just like in my head, but I noticed that like guitars with more weight have a little more resonance. I don't know why. Maybe it's something about the wood, but like I have a bunch. Huh?
Careful! Don't say things like that on a recording.
Oh no! I'm just saying like I have a bunch of different guitars, and like one of them is like more of like a chambered body, and I just noticed that my clean tone just doesn't sustain as much. It's not bad. It's just like I noticed with I don't know, like my Talmans. That's why I always write with them. That's why I started out playing a bunch of different guitars, and I just kept on like picking up the Ibanez Talman. And it's just because I really liked how it sounded with like my whole rig and my effects. And this amp in particular is AC10.
Cool. Do you have like a writing guitar, the one that you always gravitate towards whenever you want to write a piece?
Yeah, I do. It's so weird. Like, do you guys notice that you have three of the like if you have three of the same guitar, still sometimes one of them just like sounds different or one of them is just like I don't know what it is, but like I have this Sunburst Talman that it wasn't even supposed to be mine. Like I got this at NAMM because I was supposed to do a demo and I completely didn't have an instrument and I ran to Mike from Ibanez. I was just like, "Can I borrow a guitar? I need to do a demo right now." And he just handed me this one and I played it and I was just like, what the hell? This is awesome. And then he just gave it to me. And for some reason I just like I'm in love with playing with this guitar. It's not like sparkly. It doesn't look like any of my other ones, but like I don't know, something about the neck. I think it's like a custom neck, like a custom shop neck. It's just like super matte. Like I don't like gloss necks at all. I find that they slow me down. I certainly don't like skateboard deck necks with the sandpaper sticking out. But yeah, it's just something about this neck is just like really inspiring, something about the way it sounds. And I'm perplexed because it's supposed to be just like all my other Talmans, but I don't know. It's just different. I don't know why that is.
Somebody must have been in a really good mood when they put that one together.
Yeah.
Or maybe the tree grew in a happy place.
Maybe it's just like I don't know what is it's an organic material, right? So I feel like sometimes maybe even if you're using the same kind of wood, just like one piece of wood might be a little bit different than another, and then the way the pickups sound in it. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this.
There's a lot of mojo and stuff, but Andy and I've been discussing that like multiple times already. I have this theory that every piece of wood has that like specific resonance and frequency, and I call it the home frequency because if that frequency of the piece of wood resonates with your own body frequency, then it's a match. Whereas if like it's a different frequency and you don't really match, it's like meeting a partner, like meeting someone that you fall in love with, then it's just not there. And you know, wood changes over time because it's an organic material, and you change over time.
Yeah.
So let's say if Yvette Young is old, that guitar will also be old. There's the guitar, Andy. Hey.
This is my custom shop telly, which I bought because I was in the shop in Talman recording some videos, and I was waiting for Chris to come along and do his damn job, and I had nothing to do, and I just reached out my hand to touch the nearest guitar, and I touched the back of this neck, and I bought the guitar without even ever plugging it in or really playing it that much. I just knew from that split second that I'd found my partner, as Dan was saying. Yeah. And it's an amazing instrument.
Yeah, it's really interesting how like I don't know. There's two things that really turn me off for a guitar. Sometimes it's like number one, how it feels, like the way the neck plays. Sometimes I just like on certain guitars I'm just way more clumsy. I don't know why. And then like also just like of course the tone, like what pickups are in there. Like it can be like a really, really expensive, nice guitar, but sometimes if I just don't vibe with the pickups, I just don't want to write at all. Like I just hate it almost. I hate myself when I pick up the instrument. But yeah, it's really fascinating. I also I play violin as well, and there's something about wood. Like it is an organic material, and there's something really nice about wood that's just been played to shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sound like too hippy dippy here, being from California, but I don't know. It's like almost like you can just feel the history in it when you play it. Like when I pick up a violin, I have a really old one, and it just sounds like cured or something. Like it's just like the tone is like all nice and like broken in. But then sometimes when I play like a newer violin, it just sounds a bit harsher. You know, just even like a piano. Oh, there's something so beautiful about a really beat up old piano. Like with just a ton of character. I find that to be so inspiring. I love that with acoustic guitars as well. I feel like when I pick up like a really old, like vintage acoustic or something, sometimes the tone is just like so nice. That's on my bucket list of things that I want to buy. Like I have a bunch of new acoustic guitars, but I have yet to find like an old acoustic guitar that I'm in love with that I can afford.
We're back to the Venn diagram thing.
Yeah.
Really straight in the middle.
Yeah. One day.
I picked up recently a guitar that is allegedly 170 years old
Holy cow.
and was built in Vienna. And I bought it and it cost me 350 euros because it's quite common apparently in Vienna because that's where a lot of luthiers and a lot of violin luthiers trained.
Mm-hmm.
And it is beat up. It is 4 strings that have been on there for possibly 50 years. I don't know.
It has 4 strings.
Only 4 because there are 2 broken, and I can't seem to restring it. Like it'll lose its magic. Like if I make it it's playable and it's beautiful, but I feel like I could definitely put some work into it and make it a very playable instrument, but I don't want to. You know, yeah. I kind of enjoy this history of this instrument, and it makes it is playable, but it makes
Which strings are missing?
The first and the second, so the E and the B.
Gotcha. Okay, you're just losing a bit of lower register. It's not a big deal.
So I've stayed it, and I'm currently debating whether to really fix the guitar up and put strings on it, but it's beautiful. And you can see the life in this piece of wood and where it's been knocked around and scratched and dropped and kicked or whatever in 170 years. It's just got mojo. It's got stories. It's got life.
Yeah, I'm super into like, I don't know, history and even just like antique things. One of my favorite things to do, like not related to music, but it's just like to go into like an antique shop and look at objects from just like hundreds of years ago. There's just something so fascinating about like, wow, these objects are older than me and they've like lived a lifetime. I don't know what these objects have seen. It sounds funny, but like it's something really cool, like holding a guitar and just imagining like, I wonder who else played this. I wonder like what sort of energy they've like put into this instrument. Like what sorts of music they've played, if they've even composed music on it. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you usually go into guitar stores when you're in other cities?
I mean, for me, sometimes I feel like I'm okay with guitar stores. I'm very utilitarian. I'll go in, I'll be like, I know exactly what I need to buy. I know what I want. I don't want to spend too long in there because I know I'll just be like tempting myself by looking at things and wanting to buy them. It's just cruel. So I'm like in and out. But I don't know, there's something else really fun about like, okay, there's this guitar shop I think it's in Vegas. Maybe it's called Bizarre Guitars. They have like a vintage vault there. And it's really fascinating just seeing like all these really expensive, rare guitars. I know I'm not going to go home with them, but like it's fun to kind of play around and look at them. How are you guys? Are you guys like hit up every guitar shop in the city or? Yeah.
It depends if I'm alone or not.
Yeah. Well, even on vacation, it's just like a must stop.
Yeah. Especially on vacation. I'm like, okay, I'm going to judge this beautiful beach place by if it has a guitar shop on it. And often these idyllic, wonderful places don't have a guitar shop, so they suck.
Pawn shops are kind of fun too.
I've
I've picked up some interesting things at pawn shops. Like people will sell some crazy shit. Actually, my what is it? Treasure pawn shop find would be this. I have this BC Rich Warlock that I saw it and I was like, what the hell? And then I look at it and there's this, you know that band Insane Clown Posse?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I mean, no, I've never heard of them.
Okay, so it's I was like, somebody put an Insane Clown Posse sticker on this, but I looked closely and it wasn't a sticker. It was actually like a decal like built into the guitar. Like you can't scratch it off. It's like actually like printed onto the guitar. And I Googled it. I was like, did BC Rich and Insane Clown Posse like do like a collaboration or something like that I just am unaware about? So yeah, I bought it. It was like $45. It's funny because I'm thinking, do I want to make this into like the most sick playable guitar ever, or do I just want to make it like a joke guitar that has like weird, gross pickups in it and like you know, like I can't decide which direction I want to go. Do I want to like make it like the best guitar and like really put a lot of TLC into it, or do I want to just make it like a meme guitar? I can't decide.
I think it's fun. What if you made it like the tamest guitar ever? Like, so it's a BC Rich Warlock, and you made it into some kind of jazz box style sounding thing.
God! Like put like some. I don't know what pickups would I get for that. Huh?
PAFs. P90s.
P90s, or maybe some kind of Telecaster thing. You know, what's the Christian something? I can't remember the name.
I wonder if I have it. Do I have it with me? I forgot where I put it. Huh.
Well, it's probably two humbuckers, so single coils do not work, right?
I'm going to show you it.
I suddenly wish this was a video podcast. Oh, listeners, you're missing out here.
Okay, so it's already. I don't know. I have no idea what's in there right now, but yeah, as you can see, this is the thing I'm talking about. Like, that's not a sticker. That's like built into the guitar. It's insane.
So it says "Insane Clown Posse" on the back. On the front, there's some clowns, I believe.
Oh yeah, this is a sticker that I put on there. Somebody gave me an ICP sticker, so I'm just thinking of just making this like the Insane Clown Posse guitar. Like everything on it will be Insane Clown Posse related, but then it'll be like a jazz guitar. That'd be really funny, actually.
You could like put a red nose on the headstock and
that's
a little
true. I was
curly
and the horns, two red nose on the horns.
Yeah.
I was gonna maybe like install like, I don't know, like a vape or something like on the headstock just to make it extra stupid. Like just make it the stupidest guitar.
I think inappropriate music on inappropriate instruments is always fun.
Yeah. I had this fantasy of making like, you know, like a joke Instagram channel where I'm just like playing this BC Rich, Insane Clown Posse BC Rich, and like just playing like the most like rock and roll songs out of like, I don't know, like a Line 6 Spider or something, like just really yeah. But then I feel like I can't do that anymore because now people know that this is my guitar, and people also, I have like hand tattoos and I can't obscure my identity, so there goes my fantasy. But I was gonna like just make like a total joke guitar Instagram to see how much of a following I could build from it.
Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
I had a channel on there. I'm actually going to confess this now as we're going down that road. There was a guy on Vine called Spider-Man Sings, and it was a guy in a Spider-Man costume singing. And it was me. And I had quite a few thousand people following this account, and I was just against a white wall singing any old rubbish dressed as Spider-Man for that pure reason of this is fun.
Did you take requests?
Yeah, I did. I would sing, like, I'd do anything. I did some opera, I did some gospel stuff. Yeah. There was obviously, you know, rock but I had to do anything that wasn't in my normal style so that people wouldn't, not they ever would, because, you know, who am I? But they wouldn't recognize me, and they never did. And now that Vine is dead, I can reveal I am singing Spider-Man.
Well, even more importantly, do you still take requests?
Yes, Dan, for you, I shall take a request.
I know you don't have the costume on right now, but do you think you know, you could take a request right now?
I'll happily take a Spider-Man Sings request.
Oh man, okay.
No, you can't think of anything.
Oh, I can. Can you sing I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness?
Yes, I can try. Can I just get the guitar to get the right key?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I've got to get into Spider-Man mode, and I got back away from her.
Wow, what a treat!
It hasn't happened yet. Can I do it like Justin from the Darkness? Because I can only sing in that in that British.
Yeah.
Please.
I've suddenly gone very, very nervous because I'm accessing a part of my life that I've never shared with anyone before.
If you wanna face away from us, you can as well.
No, I'm totally gonna do it, but I have to hold a guitar because I can't sing with it.
Okay.
I can't explain all the things that you're making me feel. Woo! My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel. Ooh, touching you, ooh, touching me. Ooh, I am touching you.
Bravo. That's amazing.
It's one of the coolest songs. I'm so glad you chose that.
I love them. They're the band that got me into guitar, pretty much, like playing rock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You're so red. It's cute. Oh, you're like walls. Thank you.
You're welcome, but I really, really enjoyed that.
Honestly, I think you should bring it back. Bring back the Spider-Man costume. Do it on Instagram and start with that song.
How can I not?
You got some pipes. You were able to hit that. I don't even know if I can hit that note.
I kind of warbled at the beginning, if we're gonna critique it, but yeah, I went for it.
No, yeah, that was like great falsetto, whatever you were doing there.
Thank you.
Yeah, the rest of this podcast, please just talk like that.
Do you guys sing under the shower?
Yes, absolutely. It's my favorite place to sing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sing just like when I'm alone in the house, but I don't know if I've done it in the shower.
But the shower is the best place for thinking. That's where I get all my ideas.
Yeah.
Me too.
Very often running around wet, like, get a pen, come on.
I feel like the shower is the place where I overthink my life, and then I start thinking about like, oh no, like, did what I say to that person 2 weeks ago come off as like rude? Maybe I should apologize to them for something I said like 2 weeks ago that they probably don't remember, but I definitely remember because I just remembered it taking a shower. Like maybe I should be weird and like just hit them up. Maybe I should like text my ex and just say like, hey, like, sorry. That's what I do in the shower. Have existential meltdown.
What is it about showers that opens some part of us that doesn't exist outside of said shower? It just, there's an Andy for me that exists under hot water that doesn't exist outside of hot water. It's very
maybe
strange.
It's something about the circulation. It just like gets your blood pumping and it opens your mind, opens your pores, and opens your heart.
Oh. And no distraction, not to forget about that. It's like it's just you in a small room.
Yeah.
Also, I'm super tall, so I'm actually I'm wearing the shower more than in the shower.
There's good acoustics too, so I feel like it makes it ideal for singing.
Yeah, it's a mini opera.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this went weird when I sang a song by The Darkness, but now we've gone even stranger.
No, I love it. Like I don't know if you guys have had an episode like this where you sing and.
No, but I'm thinking regular feature. Dan and I take it in turns. We bring you back in a few weeks, and you tell us what to sing, and we do some kind of trio, duet. What's the three of a duet? Is it trio? I forget English.
Truet.
A truet. That's the word I wanted to say. I wanted to say a truet.
A truet.
And it sounded so ridiculous. I thought, is that a real word? Thank you, Yvette, for picking my brain and getting that one out of there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I feel like we just started a new word, truette.
Truette, where you sing songs with three people that only mean something to you and true to your heart.
You know what we could have done is I could have been like the lead guitar, like, and then Dan could have been, you know, like the bass, or maybe like, okay, he's like this. I'm rhythm, and he's the lead guitar, and then you sing.
Oh yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
It sounds like a online video.
Yeah. I'm like air guitaring as well. Like, so going back to the darkness, I think they write some of the coolest guitar lines ever.
Good.
Like, it's just so catchy. Have you seen them live?
No.
4 or 5 times.
Oh my gosh. I saw them in San Francisco, and Justin comes out in a leopard print leotard that's like like the V of the leotard is like just straight down to his balls. Like pretty much like you can see there's nothing left to the imagination. He's just like, you know, I don't know how old he is, but I'm just like, I really admire that he can just be like, I don't know, like 100 years old and like still like step out on stage and like wear this crazy thing and do what he does. And he's still like such an amazing singer. Yeah. Like, I love that so much. I can only hope that like in the future, I will be stepping out in a leopard print leotard, doing whatever I do when I'm like 80.
Maybe not down to your balls though. That'd be weird.
No, yeah.
Keep those for yourself.
Yeah. I don't. My balls are my secret.
Yeah.
So which Justin do you like more? The original Justin, like when they became big, or the pirate-ish Justin after a couple of years?
Ooh, wait, he's a pirate now?
He's got that fancy look with the beard and all that stuff. You know, he used to be like more like a, I don't know, glamour rock and roll guitar player, and then after a couple of years, he had the tats and the weird beard, and he looked more like a pirate from the Caribbean.
I gotta say, there's something about glam rock that I just like. I love that. Like, it's the same feeling I get when I see that main guy from Tiger King. I'm just like, you really like, you do you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how long it took you to get ready this morning, but I love it. Like, you know, it's cool. Like, the hair is all big and like wearing all kinds of ridiculous shit. I don't know where he got that, but I back it. I love it.
I have always wanted to be in a glam rock band. Always. I just think
after hearing you sing, I think it's a waste that you're not.
I hear what you're saying.
Do you guys want to start a glam rock band now? Yes. Like right now?
I feel we have to.
We got it, yeah.
I think,
if you promise not to mention him, I can introduce you to our 4th member who's been with me the whole time. Dan's met him before.
What the hell is that?
That's my fake me. That's Bob.
Where did you get? Why? What is it for?
Because I put him on my chair over here when I make my videos, and if Bob's in focus, then when I sit there, I'll be in focus.
I feel like you should leave it in your videos. You should.
Oh, it will. But the thing is, no one knows. You know, no one's met Bob yet. I'm just building up the tension and the expectations, and then occasionally, maybe do that sort of Fight Club flash where it's Bob sitting there and not me. You know, and yeah, I'm all into that sort of stuff.
Well, that would be scary if it's your head on the pole.
I have a green screen.
There you go.
We have so much fun with that.
Just so you know, I didn't order that as a piece. You know, I did just have a head and then found the other parts around the house, and then I thought, well, I have to do it now.
Yeah, I think it's cool if you just like don't explain why you have that. Maybe have people come over and then just have them see like your head on a pole. Just have them wonder like, what the hell does he use that for?
So yeah.
Oh man.
That's our 4th member if we needed one, you know. Someone with the look is what I'm trying to say. Or maybe the talent. I don't know.
No.
He could be
being in
our
a glam must be so fun. I mean.
Yeah. It's like you're kind of like self-aware that it's like not too serious, you know? Like, I think that's awesome. That's kind of like what I wish. I don't know what I like to do with my band is like if you set the precedent that you don't take yourself that seriously and you're down to have fun, it just takes so much pressure off. Like even if I mess up live, I'm like, like we're here to have fun. Whatever.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the most clean player. I know I'm not the most like technical player. It's not about that for me. And I feel like that's like what glam rock is. It's just about like going out there and just putting on a crazy show.
I can't think of anything more fun than being in a glam rock band right now.
It's clear we got to start one.
Yeah.
What would our name be?
Tiger Kings.
Oh, yes.
I love it.
Oh, I'm so down.
Now we just have to grow out our hair.
Yeah.
Andy, I think you're good, but Daniel and I kind of have like
No, you got
a weird anime thing going on. Daniel,
Yeah.
you gotta step it up. You gotta bring in the mane out.
I'm not sure beards are allowed in glam rock, actually. I don't ever recall
Okay.
seeing a beard on a glam rock artist.
Have you ever had really long hair, Daniel? Like super long? No.
Never ever.
Really?
I had super short hair when I was in the army, but
Wow.
I pictured you like sort of 16, 17 with the full-on sort of,
Metalhead.
metalhead hair. Yeah.
I was the sole guy that had like short hair and was listening to metal. All the others, they were just headbanging.
Hashtag make long hair Dan happen.
Yeah.
I mean, now is the time, right? You're stuck indoors, so you can grow out your hair as long as you want.
Yeah, all the barber shops are closed at the moment, so
Oh, really? So no one cuts hair anyway. So
no one.
grow it.
Grow it, grow it. Succumb to peer
Next
pressure.
Get show. There you go. Oh, man.
Maybe get like a soul patch too. Like so shave everything except for like this thing. Or who's that guy who has maybe I want to say it's the guy from Anthrax who has like the long
Scott Ian.
Yeah.
yeah. He has like the long soul patch thing going on.
Andy, did you ever have like a proper beard?
No, I can't do it, man. There's more chance of Yvette having a beard than me, I think. And, and Yvette doesn't look rather hairy. She looks rather smooth faced, and no, I'm good. Unless neck beards. Neck beards, I can do like no tomorrow. Like just, if the fashion was like look like you're wearing a scarf all the time, then I'd be well in. So maybe I should own that. I don't know.
Is it as curly as your hair, like on the top?
Yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely. But it's very uncomfortable.
I'm lucky. I'm Asian. I don't have to ever worry about growing hair or shaving or anything.
No. Well, I must be part Asian then. So.
Yvette, did you ever have like a super crazy hairdo, like fancy colors or fancy style?
I've been basically, I think every year of my life, maybe up until recently, I've kind of drastically changed how I look. I don't know if it's just me having a crisis every year, but definitely the craziest thing I ever did was I had really, really long hair and I decided to shave half my head. So I had like the side shave kind of like badass punk chick kind of look for a while. And it was cool. Like I felt tough. Like I will say it's interesting how your like external appearance can impact how you act. Cause like, it changes your personality. I'm normally like kind of like just easygoing and like, quiet and just cheerful. But I feel like as soon as I shave half my head, I was ready to fight people. I was like, all right, you looked at me the wrong way. I'm going to start some shit. Like I have half my head shaved. I'm not afraid to sock you in the jaw. So I don't know what that was all about, but I soon decided that it was too much maintenance. So I just grew it out. Now I just have short hair. It's great. I actually cut my hair for touring. I used to have really, really long hair, but I would always have to use a lot of shampoo and conditioner, and I would be, combing my hair all the time, and it was annoying because on stage it would like I don't know how people like Guthrie Govan or like anyone who's a shredder with really long hair do it, because like when I'm playing and my hair gets caught in the strings, it's like so annoying. I hate it. Like, so for me, cutting my hair makes it easy on the road because I don't really have to like wash my hair all that often. I don't have to brush my hair. I can just wake up and look like shit and it's fine. And then I can play on stage and I don't have to worry about my hair getting in the way. It's insane. I don't know how people play with long hair.
Well, now that we've started discussing the bathroom routine,
Okay.
you don't play with picks, so you play with your like the fingers or with the actual nail. How is that? What's your picking approach usually when you play?
I play with fingers. Like I do the whole like two-handed tapping, finger picking style thing. So for me, it's all about using the pads of my fingers. And yeah, I don't know. I tried using a pick. I did a bit of tremolo picking with a pick in the studio just for the sake of attack. But yeah, I don't know. I never really use a pick.
Yeah.
So how do you set your guitar then I just remembered we're on a guitar podcast.
People are going to be like, why are they talking about guitar at all?
Does that affect the way you? I'm trying to be a professional now. Talk about guitars, Andy.
Yeah.
The way like playing with fingers, you get a lot of not attack. You lack attack with fingers, so your tone is dampened somewhat. Do you then counteract that with tone settings or pedals or amp settings? Do you find that your tone is brighter? But am I making any sense? Is that?
Yeah, no, I usually out of my AC30, I use the top boost a bit. Also, I run an EQ pedal on my board. I use the MXR 10 band. But also, I find that just the Talmans I play, I don't really miss the lack of attack. Like, I feel like, okay, I have a Seymour Duncan 5.2 Strat set, and also the 5.2 Tele set and the Telecaster that I have. But I find that they're just so dynamic already. I love that I can lay back, use the pads in my fingers, and I can get like I usually dial, I dial my amp settings so that like if I dig in, it breaks up and it gets me this like more crunchy tone. Mm-hmm. But then if I lay back, it's like kind of more chimey and crystalline sounding. And I love that because I can just like pick really softly and have it sound really clean. But then I just like pick a bit harder and it's like got a little more beef to it, a little more grit, you know? I love that. So I'm used to playing that way and I don't really miss it.
Mm. I think it gives you a lot of articulation when you have your fingers, because you can like have all the variants from going very subtle, almost just like petting the string, to like rubbing it off and just, you know, like going into that kind of crunch mode of the amp.
Yeah. Guitar for me is a lot like singing. You know how singing is it's not only about hitting the right pitch. There's like a way that you like shape your vocal cords to make certain timbres and sounds sound more appealing. To me, playing fingerstyle guitar on like really dynamic pickups, it's the same way. Like sometimes for Instagram, for instance, I film guitar videos and sometimes I'll get a bunch of good takes. Like good as in I played the note right. Like I didn't mess up. But there's certain takes where I just feel like the feel and like the way that I attack the note just sounded a lot cooler, you know, like even with like, you know, a vibrato, sometimes there's just a little more like character to some of it, or like sometimes I bend certain notes out and I just love the way that sounds. Like it just like, I don't know, just like gives me a really warm, funny feeling when I'm just like, oh, that was just like atonal in just like the nicest way. So sometimes I'll pick whichever clip I post just based off of something as subtle as like finger tone or like how it sounded when I plucked it. Sometimes even if you pull off a string a certain way, it can be a little snappier. Like you can kind of simulate how a pick sounds just by pulling it off just like slightly at a different angle. I don't know. These are just things I can't like articulate with words. It's just like if you spend a lot of time with the guitar and certain pickups, you just kind of find that out by playing it a shit ton.
That's how I learned.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like even with pedals, I find that sometimes like there's like a certain chorus pedal that I have, and I find that like it even reacts to like how I touch it, you know, like it'll sound wobblier played certain ways. Yeah,
I
I
need
don't
to know
know.
what pedal that is now. You can't leave me hanging there.
Oh, I mean, I play with a bunch, but like the main ones I've been using, I use of course, the Walrus Audio Julia. I have this Zvex pedal that I custom painted. I love modulation pedals and chorus vibrato. I think those are my favorite. Anything? Oh, I love delays as well. I have a modulated delay that I just got sent that sounds really nice. I have this Echo Sex. Have you heard of that company Gurus?
No.
Gurus guitar. They have this cool. Here, I'll pick it up. It's supposed to kind of like imitate, like how I think it's like the Echo Rec, right? It has the whole plate thing. It actually imitates like the way that it decays over time, and it's got like it has this knob called Age of Damage, and it just sounds so cool. There's like a little tube preamp built in. It's for me, this is like more of a studio tool because it's obviously too clunky for my live board, and there's not really a tap tempo. I'm sure you could like find a way to rig one externally, but I don't know. It's really nice. It's got like this.
What's the name of the company or the name of the pedal?
Gurus. I don't know if you can see it.
No, you've just put it off the side of the screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Echo
6. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I really like it. I don't know. I've been playing around with that one a lot. Caroline Guitar makes like a lo-fi modulator called the Somersault that I love. I feel like it's so versatile. I used it. Okay, so we just recorded an album, and I'd say the pedals that I use the most would be the Mercury 7 by Maris. Like that reverb is like stunning, and you can do so much with it. Like there's this one setting on it that's an octave down, and is it octave up one as well? And I find with the octave down, my favorite thing to do on the record, like I definitely did it way too much. I had to hold myself back, but it's like, setting the mix knob super high, setting like it on the octave down feature, and just like holding out a note and then using the tremolo to just like pitch it like out. So it sounds like almost like Godspeed You Black Emperor, like the world is ending. It's just like, it sounds like just like, I don't know, like nuclear explosion, like just the whole world rumbling. It's so fun. So there's that one. Use the lo-fi modulator. It has this switch where if you hold it down, it just maxes out the speed. So it's just like super glitchy sounding. So I used it to I held it down for a millisecond to glitch out certain notes. Oh man, you're making me want to make like a pedal tutorial video now, explaining like all these weird studio tricks that I did. Yeah, those two pedals I use a lot. I use the Walrus Julia. I just love the way that one sounds. Longsword by Electronic Audio Experiments. That is a super sick gain pedal. I love what it does to just even clean tone. You can do it has like built-in EQ. So a lot of times I find that with some overdrive and gain, I feel like it sounds a bit thin. It almost like sucks out all of like the mids or something. I don't know what happens, but like, I don't know. I like that it has built-in EQ, so you can kind of like sculpt how you want the tone to sound a bit more, but still have that crunch and still have clarity. Sorry, I'm like talking a lot about pedals.
That's
was
cool.
super
So cool, yeah.
Avalanche Run, another really great delay pedal that I used a bunch. That reverse setting, I think it's called reverse. The reverse, the swell setting is really nice because it like delays the attack really nicely. I used it on I used it on a bunch of tracks. I don't know, I'll shut up, sorry.
I totally want to see the videos how the tracks were recorded.
Yeah, I think I wanna like do a demo video now. You just gave me an idea, because like I don't know, it's fun to try to like, part of the fun of going to the studio is being able to play with an arsenal of colors. I always refer to like pedals as colors because that's what they do to the tone. Like they kind of color it in a certain way. So for me, it's like I have the song written. I have like a vague idea of like if I may use like a visual art analogy, if the song is a black and white drawing like a skeleton. Having pedals is just a chance for you to color certain sections to make it like tell your story better. And for me, when I go into the studio, I have a vague idea of like what color I want to use, but I don't know exactly. And part of the fun is like plugging into a bunch of things and like even improvising, like, what would a phaser sound here? What would a phaser in conjunction with a chorus sound like here? Whoa, that's really weird. Like, no rules. There's really no rules. Even in signal chain stuff, like people think that there's like of course there's certain rules that make sense, like you want to put your tuner like as close to your guitar as possible, not like at the end of the chain, but like, I think sometimes like disobeying rules also makes for really cool outcomes, like where do I put my chorus before my reverb, or do I do it the other way? Or
I want to show you guys something I received today. Oh, please don't mention.
Just like immediately break it.
Please don't mention what it is. But look at that.
What is it? A DS1 distortion?
What is that?
What?
It's a modded DS1 distortion with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 switches, an extra knob on the side, and it just kind of self-oscillates, and it has an optical filter there that you can, like, how much light is going through it affects what sound is going through it.
What?
So you can play it like a DS1 or like a standard pedal, or you can let it self-oscillate and create like synthy stuff with it.
That's crazy.
And I haven't plugged it in yet because I want to capture on video the moment I plug it in and just go on the journey with this ultimate DS1. A guy contacted me on Facebook and said, "Can I send you this pedal that I've built?" I'm like, "Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can."
Wow.
So that's what I think I can make an album with that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I've never really played with modded out pedals, but one thing I was going to say is another reason why I like pawn shops and like why I do like going to music shops is sometimes people sell like really weird modded out gear, like, or my favorite thing is enclosures where you don't know what it is. Like someone just like made it or something, and it's like painted a certain way, and I'm always like super curious to try those out because like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I think pawn shops are more an American thing than it is like for us over here in Europe. It's, at least from my experience, I went into pawn shops in America and they were awesome, like a real cave of treasures. But here they're more sort of functional and old VCRs and old, crappy guitars that are not crappy and cool. They're just crappy. Like, what do you think, Dan? Has that been your experience, or is it
here you got to go into those independent guitar stores. They usually have all the used stuff that you can just like crawl through and find the interesting kind of bits that you don't know yet. So not pawn shops, not really.
No, it's a shame. It was one of the dreams when I went to America. I managed to find one. I was like, oh, finally, I'm in a movie.
It is kind of cool because, like, I don't know. I feel like when you go buy gear that's kind of like somebody handmade and for some reason gave away, like, this is like probably only one, and it just makes it kind of special, like even if it's like totally shitty, you can't, there's only one.
Yeah, then when you put that on an album, it's like, that's yours then, isn't it? That's your sound. It's nobody else can get that.
Yeah. I recently picked up a germanium fuzz, actually, that I literally, that expression, put a bird on it?
No.
Nope. Okay, well, yeah, it just had a bird on it, and I was like, I love that. I don't even care what it is. Like, I just want that pedal because it has a bird on it. And it's got just one knob, and it just controls how much fuzz is in it. It's not very versatile, but I mean, like, it's kind of cool. I want to try to figure out a way to use it. It's tricky. I feel like if I put it in my chain with like maybe like an EQ pedal, I could make it sound a bit better. But I don't know. This is like one of those impulse buys. It was $40. Had a bird on it. It's gold. Like, What's there to hate?
Yeah.
I have a
And it's a
mission,
fuzz, so you've got Andy's attention already,
yeah,
right?
I'm there,
Yeah.
man. You said the magic 4-letter F word.
Fuzz.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Fuzz a lot.
I want to own
What's your
every
favorite?
fuzz.
What's your favorite Fuzz?
Probably, I'm still showing you stuff. This Russian Big Muff, which is huge. So there's the DS1, and it's a Russian Big Muff Soviet one. It's glitchy. You turn the knobs and there's just noise and dirt and dust, and it's huge and ridiculously big. And I know it's a bit sort of vanilla to go for an EHX pedal, but it's just this one. You know, I've played other ones and they, in my head, weren't that good. But this one is awesome. But tomorrow it'll be different. It'll be a different pedal tomorrow.
Have you ever played with the Fuzz Factory from ZVEX?
Yeah, I built one.
It's wild. Damn, that's cool.
That's such a good pedal. It does things that I can't get other pedals to do. Like, you'd think that there was some similarity with that and another fuzz pedal or another pedal of some kind. But a Fuzz Factory is something magical.
I think they build their pedals in a way where, like, just each knob kind of, like, affects, I don't know, like, I don't know how to express this, but it's just, like, it's pretty, like, interactive, where it's, like, you can't really control what it does. It just feels, like, a little bit, like, untamable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're just along for the ride. You know, okay, we're going there now. Fine, okay, let's go there.
It's like you're not riding the horse. The horse is taking you wherever the fuck it wants to go. So.
Have you tried the Swarm by Beatronics?
Oh, I was recommended that by a good friend. He was gonna let me borrow one, but
it is insane. It's one of those pedals like the Fuzz Factory that you're just along. You know, you're not in charge. You're just plugged into it.
Yeah, it's a great pedal to just, like, I don't know, like, uncondition the control freak inside everyone. Just, like, let yourself surrender to the fuzz.
Oh, that's a T-shirt. Surrender to the fuzz.
There you go.
That's your merch. I got you.
Thank you very much.
What was I going to say? Have you played with the Fuzz Probe? That one's really weird too, from ZVEX.
No.
Oh, that's I want to make sure that I'm giving you the correct information. I believe that. Oh yeah. Okay. So it's like you control it with your foot. It's like a theremin. Like, so you take off your shoe and, like, the closer you put your foot to the metal. I don't know what. Zachary's freaking crazy. He makes, like, really cool work, but it's like he has, like, a probe series where it's just, like, how close you hover your foot to it, and that controls the pedal itself. It's not even a switch. Like,
so it's like an optical sensor. The closer you get, the more it alters the sound, or
I feel like the more I talk about this, the more I'm gonna realize I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. But I tried one, and how it works is, like, you put your foot as close. It's like this metal square. You, like, put your foot close to it, and then it, like, controls. That's how you control it.
Oh wow! It's the older brother of the Fuzz Factory.
huh?
So it's like as you said, like a theremin like antenna.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool.
It's got a copper plate that just oscillates pitch and strange. I'm just reading from the website.
I wish we were hanging out in person so we could actually, like, plug in and, like, play with these things.
But I'm gonna get one, and it's your fault.
Yeah.
Oh, are you really buying one?
I absolutely have to. I'm not right now, you know, the times being as they are. But
there's a wah probe too. You should check out the wah probe.
Oh, stop! I love fuzz wah. Like, I could do a whole show with just fuzz wah. I don't need anything else.
You should do, like, a special series, the Fuzz Fantasies.
Fuzz Fantasies? I don't want to Google that. That's.
He actually did the video. He did the video at Mannheim Guitar Summit. We're talking about the J Custom guitar, and he was calling that the morning glory.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I did actually Google Fuzz Fantasies.
Oh boy.
It's
Is it
okay.
PG-18?
It's just the
It's
movie Hot Fuzz came up. We're okay.
All right.
Okay. I feel like a lot of these pedals like have pretty questionable names, like Big Muff, like Russian Big Muff Fuzz Fantasy, the worst search entry ever. Like,
Disqualified on YouTube immediately.
yeah, the worst targeted ads for the rest of your life. Like, just like.
Okay, that leads me into something that I did buy this week.
Okay.
I bought the Steel Panther new pedal, which I don't remember what it's called because I was kind of more than half asleep and I got an email saying Steel Panther have released a new pedal, and I have the other two. I have the Pussy Melter and the Poontang Boomerang.
Poontang Boomerang. Holy cow.
And,
That's amazing.
What is this one called? It's the same circuit as the Pussy Melter. What is it called?
Oh my gosh. That reminds me. I saw.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No,
sorry.
It's called the Butthole Burner. There.
The Butthole Burner. I think Steel Panther caught a lot of flack for the names of their pedals. I remember online seeing a bunch of like people get really angry over it. Yeah. I think it's kind of funny, but like, you know, I think it's meant to be like tongue in cheek, like a joke, right? So, yeah, I'm personally not offended. I think it's funny.
If I may be the geek and the pedant here, it came from the TC Electronic tone print that Satchel created, and it was called the Pussy Melter. So it was a tone print setting for a TC Electronic pedal, and there was a massive. I'll use my mum's word. A massive to-do, a hoo-ha. And people complained about this TC Electronic patch, so they deleted the patch, and then they got in massive trouble, as you said. And off the back of that, they released their Pussy Melter pedal.
Oh, man.
So they totally owned it and totally said, right, well, you're going to take down our patch. We're going to use this marketing opportunity to create a pedal.
Yeah. You know what? I think instead of complaining about it, I think like they should just release their own pedal called the Cockbreaker. So it's like then it's equal. Like there's two equally offensive sounding things. Cockbender. There we go.
The Cockbender.
It's probably pedal number 4.
I'm going to release a signature pedal called the Cockbender.
well, Glenn Fricker had the Cock Blocker.
I love that. Cock Blocker.
Cockbender has to be a fuzz, like a fuzz pedal, surely.
Yeah.
Like the Tone Bender, right? The Tone Bender
fuzz
pedal.
Tone Bender fuzz. Yeah, that's perfect. The Cockbender. I love it.
Right, you've just sold one, so.
Okay, so we have our glam rock band. Do you guys want to start a boutique pedal company as well?
Why not? We could just take old Boss pedals and just stick switches on them and pretend they do stuff. And then you paint them, Dan markets them, done.
Yes, re-enclose them.
Yes. Take
the circuit out of all these Boss pedals and just like put them in, I don't know what the enclosure would look like. And then maybe the switches can just be tiny, tiny dicks.
Definitely. I mean, that's what I see when I see the switches.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I just ruined your podcast.
No.
I feel like I've been
PG-18 for 20 minutes already, so it's all good.
Okay.
Not possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, if my mum emails me tomorrow, as if my mum knows how to use email. Sorry, mum. If my mum FaceTimes me and then forgets to turn the camera on tomorrow and says, I heard that podcast. That was interesting.
I didn't like that girl. She was very rude.
Who's that delightful young lady?
I've been around band guys too much. I've been ruined.
Speaking of, with all the crazy situation at the moment, what's going on? Any plans for the rest of 2020 that are still like firm?
So we had the dopest summer headline tour planned, and it was like I was so excited about this. Like I was literally living for this tour because it was just two of my favorite bands on it. There's this band from Denmark called Town Portal. I don't know if you guys have heard them, but if I can leave you guys with anything today, I think I would just tell you to go listen to their album. They're just so, like God. It's like everything I want to hear in music, like in one band. They're a prog band. Instrumental. The bass player's got like really wicked tone, and his bass lines are so creative. Like I feel like they do a good job of writing melodies that like interweave with each other, and it's like they never like step on each other. They're really listening, and when they compose stuff, it's like it truly does feel like, you know, like different instruments, the different members kind of like take their highlight moment and then like know when to step back. I don't know. It's just like I could nerd out about their composition forever. Really cool polyrhythm stuff going on. Yeah, I just got like, you can't help but listen to them and just go like, you know what I mean? Like, so we were going to tour with them, and I was going to just feel completely inept and inadequate every night with them opening, and probably feel really just like scared and discouraged to go on after them. And I was totally okay with that because I love having my ass kicked. Like, I think it's really inspiring. And I get my ass kicked all the time. So we were going to have them, and then we're going to have this band from Japan called Trico. And it's like three girls who shred. Like they're just really sick at their instruments. Wow. So we were going to have them, but then this whole thing happened and the visa stuff. I feel really bad for Town Portal because they applied for the visa, but then they got it approved and they paid for it. But now that, you know, it's shut down, like they pretty much wasted that money, and I hope that they're able to like get it back or at least move it. We're still banking on having them on our rescheduled tour because I don't know, I feel so passionate about these guys. They've never done a US tour. Part of the cool thing about doing our first headliner is we get to choose who we want to open, and for me, I always like, I don't know, I don't really care. Maybe this is why I'm an artist and I'm not rich and not business minded, but I always just want to like have music that I really genuinely love. I don't care about draw that much. I don't care about like hype or whatever. Like for me, I just want a solid tour package of stuff that like really sonically gels and things that I'm like, I personally like really am invested in and want more people to see. So Town Portal is one of those bands where I'm just like, I think like everyone should listen to them. Like they rule so hard. They're so underrated. Yeah, I swear they didn't pay me to say this. Like, I just legitimately, like, love them so much. So we're currently looking for someone to you know, kind of, if they can't do it, maybe to take their place. So that's supposed to happen in July, late July, but I don't know if it's still going to happen. It was going to happen end of May, but, you know, things got pushed. Mm-hmm. I'm not complaining. Like, now, that just means I have more time to figure out how I'm going to emulate some of the stuff I did in the studio on my live rig. Because, you know, in the studio, what's fun about recording is you can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to worry about, like, how am I going to engage, like, 6 pedals at the same time? But, like, you know, now live, I have to figure out how I'm going to tap dance my way into, you know, making some of this stuff, actually executing some of this stuff. Yeah. So it's giving me more time to practice.
I think you seem very, very positive, and that's generally how I see you. But also with the lockdown thing that's going on at the moment, I think it might actually benefit us. So people might actually realize what they were missing, like being stuck at home. Like you said earlier, that you really want to go out and party, even though you may not have wanted to when you had the opportunity. I'm hoping that people that may not have gone to gigs in the past might actually make the extra effort now when they realize that they couldn't go to gigs. And I maybe I'm just too idealistic, but I think that they might actually get something grown out of this for the artists after this is all over.
I hope so. So the optimist in me that you see so often, like that's like my perspective. I hope so. But there's also like this weird pragmatist, like realist in me that's like, okay, also it could go the opposite way because everyone's cut off from their income source right now. Mm-hmm. At least not everyone. Like a lot of people, we're getting people getting laid off. You know, you're getting people who just like, you know, we make a lot of our touring a lot of our money from touring. So like now that these tours are canceled, I'm sure like I don't know. Other stuff's probably canceled too, and people aren't really like, you know, probably draining their savings account. So I'm also like, maybe I don't know if people will be too broke to go to see shows, because I don't know what it's like in Europe, but in America, what I generally see is that like, I don't know, arts and music and stuff. It's kind of actually, I don't want to generalize, because that's, I'm sure everyone's different, but sometimes I see that when people are hurting for money, like art and stuff is seen as kind of frivolous and seen as like an extra luxury, and people don't want to spend on it, and they're going to like kind of spend more money on things that are essential. So I don't know, with that mindset, I feel like it could go either way. I just keep on thinking about the one time I was in college. I didn't have money. Godspeed You Black Emperor was playing a show with like projections and stuff, and I was so excited because I love that band, and I was like totally down to go see them. But then because I didn't have money and the ticket was like $50, I was like, like I gotta save my money. And I ended up missing out on a really dope show. But I did see them later in Manchester actually, and it was amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. I hope that people will come out from their holes and go out and experience the show. But I'm also ready for the worst.
That's total bummer now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope for the best. I think there's a lot still to do, and we're looking forward to having you in Europe actually, because there was quite a lot of interest in having you for clinics kind of.
Oh, I would love that. I'd probably talk about like inappropriate things in the clinic. I just did a Didario clinic in the UK and France, and I can't tell you guys how much I appreciated having that experience, because I've never really done the whole like talking in front of a crowd thing. And I feel like, you know, the first couple maybe started out a bit rocky just because I had to get in my groove. But I hope to have more experiences doing that sort of thing, because I legitimately do enjoy it. And I feel like every time I talk about something or people ask me a question, it pushes me to like, it challenges me to really think about why I do certain things instead of just like blindly accept them. And having to explain it allows me to like, I don't know, like learn my craft even more and get better at it. Get better at articulating things too. So I had such a good experience. I hope I get to do that again as well.
Yeah.
What question did you get asked that made you feel that way? Like, is there one question that sticks out that you remember from doing clinics?
Well, it's like, you know, it's easy to answer technical things because I feel like they're pretty black and white. But the questions that really kind of make me take a moment to really sit back and think are the ones about like my creative process and how a song does happen. Because admittedly for me still, I feel like my process is quite nebulous. Like I don't feel like, it feels like a superpower I can't control. It feels like my creative process is like a fuzz factory where I'm just like, all right, you want to write a song today? Okay, I guess I'm gonna write a song today. I'm not gonna question it. You know, you just never know what you're gonna get every day when you sit down at your instrument. I feel like, but however, every time I sit down, I feel like I get a little bit closer to being consistent. You know, some days are better than others, but now I'm at a point where I feel like if I sit down, give myself 5 hours to write something, I can generally write something. And yeah, like to me, creativity, the more time I spend trying to like understand it, the more I realize it is kind of like a muscle that you flex. And, you know, also just pure probability wise, the more often you sit down and try, the more likelihood something's going to happen. So that's something I take comfort from. But going back to your question about what sorts of questions make me kind of wonder, it's always the ones like, how do you write a song? Or like, what's your process? Or like, you know, I'm having trouble, expanding on an idea or something. I'm just like, well, what would I do in that situation? I just do so many things I do just passively because I've already gotten into like a groove over the years of like how I like to write. I like to write alone and nobody else can be around. I'm such like that person where I can't jam. I'm like, no, everyone leave. Like, you know, like, so yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting having to like answer more like abstract questions like that. Or like, what do you write about? Like, what inspires you? I don't know what inspires me. I sit down and I'm just like, I don't know where this song came from, but I'm grateful.
I totally
a
understand
gift.
the superpower, like flowing through you rather than flowing from you.
Yeah.
I totally get that. It's an
I,
odd thing, and as I've got older, it's become less and less easy and less achievable. You know,
yeah.
sort of the classic life getting in the way and stuff like that. But genuinely, there's times where I think that magic has happened. You know, and I'm not responsible for the magic, but I was there when it happened, and
Yeah.
that's an amazing thing. And
It's one of the things that like that's the joy I get. Like, okay, so I always ask people, what do you like the most? Do you like performing? Do you like composing and slash jamming, or do you like recording? And for me, performing is my least favorite thing because it's I get nervous. I'm somewhat introverted, and I feel like every night something goes wrong, and just feeling like I don't have control over that frustrates me to no end. But it's something that I'm learning to enjoy more. But my favorite has always been composing and then recording after that because I feel like there's so much magic in composing. Like when you sit down, you don't know what's going to happen, and there's something really cool about like creating something out of seemingly nothing. Like it's just abstract concepts and ideas floating around, but then you somehow your brain like organizes it and like turns it into something that's like hopefully coherent. So there's something cool about that. And then recording is like basically taking what you made and creating the ideal version of it. So there's something really rewarding about that as well. I don't know. It's like for me, it's like that's my north. That's my true north. And playing music is like, oh, like I get to write and feel like I have this superpower, and then I get to like record the ideal version of what I did.
And whenever you record a track, do you have a certain point where you know, like, okay, now I'm done. Now this track is through, or
Oh,
do you tend to work on stuff over and over again until like it gets at 99.9% of perfection?
so that one's a really fascinating thing to me as well. Like, when do you stop? A lot of people also struggle with that. I feel like I definitely do. I just always refer to it in terms of like uh, days where I used to do oil painting and stuff, and I could sit there and just work on a painting and never stop because I'm always like zooming in on little details, you know? And I feel like it's really easy to get like that in the studio where you become hyper fixated on like, no, 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 I want the feedback to do this like really specific thing. Like, but then at the end of the day, when you take some space, you walk away from it and you come back and listen, you're probably not going to notice that little detail. So that's one thing that I've kind of like, I'm trying to find that happy compromise where it's like, I don't know. I think for me, a good stopping point is when the piece of work, whatever it is, art, visual art, music, it accomplishes what you're trying to do. So it's like, for me, in writing music, I always want to tell a story, and I always want to like kind of create a mood, right? Paint a mood. So like as long as the song's doing what I want it to do, mood wise and tone wise, like I think I'm happy with it. That being said, when I say recording is like the ideal version of a song, there's sometimes things in the studio that you just cannot recreate. That happens when you're playing live. Like there's something about that like live energy, I feel like when you're tracking in a studio, sometimes it doesn't translate. So that being said, yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like I'm always 90% satisfied. That extra 10%, there's something that just I can't explain. Maybe I'm just like stupid or like inept and I don't know how to achieve it in the studio, but I don't know. I'm okay with that though. It's kind of nice having something where it's unattainable. You want to try to get as close as you can.
Yeah, and maybe like performing those songs live add a few percent points with the chemistry with others, the interaction and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm a super sloppy person. And like, for me, that means that I'm not like super ultra perfectionist about getting something the same way every single time. So like live for me, I'm okay if it like, sometimes I like, for instance, delay oscillation or whatever. Like if I do it, it's not going to be like the exact same every night. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, I do some looping like in between songs just so I can change my tuning. So I'll like play a riff and then my drummer will groove to my loop. Sometimes I'll play it really sloppy, but like it'll kind of be like played in a weird swung way, and it's like just little things like that I can't control, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm fine with having it be different and having the energy be different every night.
Very cool, yeah. Well, and we had the privilege, or at least I had the privilege, to see you opening up for Steve Vai and Polyphia at the NAMM show, NAMM Saturday. That was a great performance. Hats off for that.
Thanks. I'm trying to resist doing the typical thing where I'm like, no, actually we sucked and like so many things went wrong, and like I don't know if you noticed, but like I was supposed to like press my distortion pedal on the third song, but like I definitely forgot to press the distortion, and I like came in like a bar late, and I'm trying to like avoid doing that. So I'm just gonna say thank you.
No, really, because it takes so much like balls to open up with that bill, like with those people appearing on stage later, and you've got all those professionals from the industry, and everyone's very like skeptical. Maybe some of them haven't even heard about you, and you open up, and the show was great, the tone was great, and it was the first time for me seeing you live, and it totally rocked. So
I hope you come to a different show, because that one was definitely on my list of not my favorite. We were nervous, and so like NAMM is just exhausting, like so tiring, and I was definitely at like my last bit of life, so I feel like I wasn't totally in it, and I don't know. I hope you get to see us play again, because although that show was like, honestly, the bill was like mind-blowing. I never thought that I would ever play that show. It wasn't my favorite performance-wise. So, but I once heard someone call it as like, if you have a bad show, you can get revenge at your next show. Like, you can like kick the other show's ass. And I don't know, that's always what I want to do. So hopefully I can get revenge on that show for you sometime.
Well, you couldn't have done a bad job at all, because that was such a great like surrounding with all the people from the industry, and everyone was so positive, and all the Japanese guys were there, and everyone was smiling, and it was just a positive atmosphere. So it just contributed to an overall great evening, basically.
Yeah, I hope we get to do something like that again. There's something really beautiful about like merging of like an older generation and a new generation. I thought like symbolically it was really meaningful. And going back to what you said earlier, Andy, you said about the guitar world being kind of like a weirdly competitive place. Like one thing that I really care about a lot is kind of like eliminating that mindset. I think it's such a bummer when people like use any sort of art form to compete and use it to like pit people against each other. Like you see it all the time in like comment sections, or even like articles sometimes, where people compare two different guitarists and be like, one person is totally better than this other person. Like it's like almost like, I always jokingly say it's like people treat us like Pokemon or something, where it's just like, oh, her arpeggio is her like like a hybrid picking technique is no match for this other person. Like it's just like it's like absurd. I'm like, why can't we just accept that everyone's different, and like everyone's going for their own unique thing? So it's kind of dumb to I don't want to say dumb, it's just unfair to pit two people against each other like that. But going back to the whole old generation meets the new generation, I feel like guitar playing has evolved in like a really cool way, and it's like it's not like we've abandoned the old world. I feel like everything's like a palimpsest, like everything kind of builds off what's already there, and references the past. Like everything new is referential to like something that was done like a long time ago, and I think it's cool to see like a union of both worlds, and I think it's nice to celebrate that.
Yeah. That evening was prototypical for that, because you had the old generation with Steve Vai being like the superhero for most of the people in that room, and then guys like Tim and Scott and you with your band opening up for the legacy artists, and that was pretty cool. It was like passing the torch on from one generation to another.
Yeah, I love that. Like people keep on saying that maybe guitar is like dying or whatever, but I don't know. I think it's just being reinvented.
Yeah.
I think it's going through like a metamorphosis, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I missed that
Absolutely.
show.
Which one?
The show that you guys are talking about now, I missed it. I was working.
Oh, it's okay. You, at least for us, you didn't miss much. Sorry, I just think we could have done way better.
Well,
I'm just being realistic.
If it's any consolation, I was sat in an armchair working, thinking about the show.
Okay.
With 3 other people who were thinking about the show. So mentally, we were at the show, but we just
Yeah.
weren't at the show.
Well,
And you had tickets.
Yeah, maybe next year it'll happen again. It's also cool because I think Steve was releasing his signature, right? The Pia. Awesome that he debuted that. Those guys are such great. They have such great showmanship. I was watching from side stage and I was just like, wow, that's insane. They look like they're just like casting spells or something. They just look so cool. Shrouded in fog. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
He's owning the stage. Yeah.
Yeah. I there was that jam session at the end. I admittedly didn't partake in it because like I know like the kind of school of thought that I come from, I'm more of like a composer. Like I write my music. So and I play in like 6 different tunings so for me jamming doesn't always make sense because like there's no shapes. There's no logic to what I'm doing. It's literally just using my ear and finding things. So I sat that one out, but it was really cool for me watching everyone trade off solos. That's something that I could like never imagine myself doing, but I don't know. I feel like I learned something that night just by watching.
Yeah. To be honest, that's probably the least part of the concert whenever someone gets to jam because I don't know how I should put it, but it's basically like often they repeat themselves because they tend to fall back into the patterns that they used to play like 3 shows before. Yeah. Whereas when you're in the zone and we're interpreting your own song, you sometimes like go over the edge on purpose and you just want to like reinvent a part or improvise a part and then go back to what you used to. Whereas like those kind of jam sessions often are like the safe ground and so it's
to me it feels so unsafe. Like for me when I jam I feel so vulnerable because I'm like, wait, you mean I don't get to like decide on the best iteration of this riff? Like I just have to like say exactly what comes to my mind. Like to me it's like I don't get time to think about what I'm saying. It just comes out and that scares the shit out of me. It's something I can do it like when I'm alone, but for some reason having like a crowd of people watch me do that feels like so exposed and vulnerable. I think also what's the song that was played? It was My Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mom, or was that one by what's his name? Zappa. Yeah. I think isn't that like don't they choose that song like for a lot of the jam sessions? Like isn't that a popular one to do?
I'm not so sure. Probably yeah. I'm not sure about that, but but it was just like me coming up with like my personal preference. I usually I'm not the jam guy, you know. It gives me the least pleasure to listen to the kind of jam sessions. I'm more into like seeing the artist's performance. If you compare like the jam part, it was cool to see all those heroes and get that flair and the mojo on stage. But like I like the previous performance of Steve with his band more because it was that kind of organic and holistic Steve Vai presence. And Well,
I can go now. I feel safe. I can say that the reason why I compose and I write music is because I absolutely like don't like jamming at all. Like, like I mean, I think writing is kind of like refined jamming, right? Because you jam with yourself and then you decide on like what you want. For me, like I don't know. Every time I've participated in a jam, I got frustrated because it always sounds like half-baked ideas that you never get to like develop and make into something with like a lot of like this is like you see the potential but it just doesn't go any farther from that, you know. It's just a jam. So I'm with you in that, and it's like for me jams are always like the least enjoyable part, but as someone who is not my forte, I'm like just admiring the bravery of everyone going up there and doing that. I'm just like no, like I have to prepare. It's a different language, right? It's like there's the language of composition and the language of like improvising the moment. Oh, and sometimes jams can go on like way too long.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I've definitely been in like a practice space of a bunch of dudes who just smoked like way too much weed and they just jam for like 30 minutes. I'm like, can I leave? Like, please. Like, I want to go home.
If it gets too much into the chill zone or too much into the competitive zone, who plays faster, I'm off. Like in between, it's okay.
Yeah.
But those kind of extremes, I don't really connect with that.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that happens is everyone's trying to flex. Everyone's trying to like show off their like biggest chops.
Yeah.
All the time, I feel like in some gyms. So then it's like everyone just steps on each other, which can be kind of cacophonous, right? Like it's just not fun to listen to. But that night, I feel like, I don't know, I was watching and who is it? I'm really bad with names. Oh my gosh. Paul Gilbert did a really, really great job with Paul Satriani, Steve. They did a great job of like kind of listening to each other and like trading off, you know. I think that's kind of cool. It's like a conversation. Also, they probably just have like so much experience playing with each other that it's like second nature.
Yeah.
You know what jam I really love though? Sorry to like bring this to another topic, but a jam I really love is, have you heard of Nils Fromm and Olafur Arnalds?
No, sorry.
Oh my god. Okay, so they come from, Olafur Arnalds is an Icelandic composer that I love so much. Nils Fromm, I don't know where he's from, but he's also like kind of in that like movie soundtrack composer realm. And they do this project called Trans Friends, where they both basically got together and did like kind of like a piano jam that they, I think, recorded to tape. And there's some, their project's called Trans Friends. And it's on YouTube. There's like a video of them. They just get together, have a night of jamming. They make dinner together. And it's just like one of the most comforting, cool things to witness because they do a really good job of like communicating in the moment where they're not like, it's not showy at all. It's like actually quite tender and quite like, I don't know, just like it feels vulnerable. It feels like really emotional. And they're just like trading off on piano and like their melodies kind of like interweave. It's beautiful. Like I'll send you guys that after this.
Oh yeah, please.
I'm big into the piano world. Like guitar music for me, like I've never really been like a person who listens to a lot of guitar music other than like the darkness, you know? So for me it's like I've always got my inspiration from piano composers and like movie soundtrack artists because they do a really good job of like painting a mood, and that's like what my passion is with music, is like how can I tell a story.
And we're looking to hear many more stories from you, Yvette.
Yeah, hopefully they're good stories. Yeah, right. I'm excited to share the new record. Definitely there's a lot of different textures and colors in there. Like there's ones where I sing and it's like indie guitar. There's like a post-rock one where there's violin that I played. So, like, cool. I don't know, something for everyone.
Yeah. When is the record coming out?
June 5th.
Wow. Okay, June 5th.
Yeah.
One day after Independence Day. No, that's July. June 5th. What's your Children's Day is June 1st.
Children's Day?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
What's Children's
Day? Well,
Day?
That's a day dedicated to children. You've got Mother's Day, you've got Father's Day, and on June 1st, we celebrate Children's Day.
It's the day where parents don't get to have any authority and children overtake the streets and do it. It's just the streets and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be too political, but I get the feeling that happens every day.
I feel you on that, man. I feel it every day in America is now Children's Day.
I have a question for you, Yvette. I know we're going to try and have to wrap this up. This is the longest and most enjoyable podcast I've been part of so far.
I'm glad. I'm sorry. I feel like we just talk about so much random shit. It's great.
Well, at a time like this, that's what we need. And whoever's listening to this, I'm sure they're appreciating it. My question is not a groundbreaking question. I'm just interested in, you said that you play piano, you play guitar, and you play violin. Is there any instrument you've tried and haven't like mastered or got on with, or is there some instrument that you would love to be able to play that in the future you're thinking, yeah, when I've got time, I'm going to try the Mongolian nose flute or whatever?
So one day when I inevitably age into a pretentious hermit that lives in a cabin, like isolated from the rest of the world, it's going to happen. I'm calling it. Totally. I'm going to just collect a bunch of instruments. Like there's something really cool about just having an arsenal of tones and timbres to work with. Like, it's the same enjoyment I get from having a pedal collection. You just like get to have a lot of colors to play with. And when I record a record, I do all the layering too. So it's like you record the song, right? And then you get to like enhance it with like pads, with like a second rhythm guitar part, or like, ambient swells if you're going for that. I just like collecting instruments, and for that reason I have acquired a Celtic harp and a banjo, and those are two instruments that I have lying behind me. I feel like such a poser having them, because people come over, they're like, you play harp? I'm like, I mean, define play. Like, I can make it make noise. I can plunk some noise out now. So those are two instruments that I kind of wish I had more time to master. I just spend so much time playing piano and guitar that I don't really have time to sit down and master banjo. There's something about having that high note come first. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's like you have like that just fucks me up. I'm like, I don't understand this instrument. It's so weird. Like, I have to just resist everything that I've learned about guitar. But I do love the timbre of it, and for that reason I wish I actually bought, like, they have the banjos that are tuned like guitars, so I wish I got that. A cello, I love cello. It's like the best. It's the best. Yeah. Your face when you said that cracks me up. You look like you just ate like the most delicious thing in the world, and you're just like, oh hell yeah.
So it took me back to a moment. I was in a studio in December, and I'd written a song and I recorded my parts, and then a friend of mine came in and she played cello, and I just broke down in tears. It was just the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard, and this deep, and again back to the wood. You could hear this life coming through this instrument, and every movement of her bow was just my heart was going like all over the place. Like, what am I feeling right now? And I was sat like a meter from her when she was doing it. It was one of the best things I've ever had happen to me.
There's something so lovely about that register. I feel like people find it appealing because I think it's the most similar to like the register of like the human voice. That's at least what I've read. I don't know how substantiated that is, but gosh, it's like so nice and warm and throaty. Like, I just love that. That tone, and I wish I could play cello. I wish I had one so I could practice, but alas, I took up violin instead, which I love as well. Like, I want to get an electric violin. Actually, that's on my list of things to purchase, because I feel like with a lot of these pedals, like, I could do some really cool stuff with like violin, like having it be fretless. You can do like microtonal stuff. I don't know. I'm just imagining that it would sound great. So I've been sitting here in quarantine with my like cursor hovered above the purchase button on Reverb for this like Yamaha electric violin. But I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do it. You're going to buy the Fuzz probe. I'm going to buy an electric violin. What are you going to buy, Daniel?
Probably also a fuzz pedal. Not so sure. Actually, I was just thinking when you mentioned microtones, I was just thinking there was like 10 years ago there was a quarter tone saber guitar from Ibanez that was made for an artist in Iran, or I don't know.
Wow.
Some countries that work with quarter tones. That was pretty cool because like the whole scale was so small, it wasn't fretless, so that you had actually frets, but they were like quarter tones.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there's something so cool about playing a fretless instrument. I feel like that's what kind of gave me my ear and my sensitivity to like pitch, because having to learn violin, it's just like, oh man, starting out is not pretty. It sounds like shit for the longest time, but it makes you really sensitive to like even doing bends on guitar and stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of the sensitivity to that just comes from having to play violin. I don't know. I've never played a fretless guitar or anything. I imagine that would be a trip.
I was just about to
have,
ask
and
you.
it's not a nice
You
one.
did?
Yeah.
Which one? VGA?
I was with Rob Chapman.
There's a French company. It's called VGA, and they have those
VGA,
aluminum
it was
fretboards.
it was a VGA. It was in Birmingham.
There you go.
Yeah, insane. I did invest 2 years of my life in violin and didn't gain much from it apart from bending and pitching. Technically I was terrible, but the ear development on a fretless instrument is huge.
Muscle memory, that's like everything on a fretless instrument. Like for me, a lot of the reason why I can play a lot of these like huge jumps without looking and stuff, I totally attribute to just like in violin, just knowing that this is where the octave is, this is where the fifth is, this is where it's like you just know. It's crazy. But yeah, I want to acquire a cello. I want to acquire like a lot of Middle Eastern instruments kind of like fascinate me, like the tar. It's that one I got to play one at a friend's house, and it was just I really like the timbre of that one as well. I want to play erhu. It's like a Chinese instrument. It sounds like you can make it sound like a horse. It's pretty sick. I just like a lot of folk instruments. I think
when
they're really
like
cool.
A horse, how does it like? Is it like or is it?
Yeah, like people play it like it just sounds like I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it's just a really, really cool sound. Yeah, and hopefully in the future, in my weird hermit instrument cave, I can just I don't have to tour anymore. I can just record music and I can just, use all these instruments I have to create cool textures over what I'm writing. There's not enough hours in the day. I wish I could I'm not even, I don't think I've mastered anything in my stupid short life. But, I think I never will. People say like the possibilities of guitar have been like exhausted. I don't know if I buy that. I think you can always try to find something new to do with it.
Yeah.
Just buy another pedal.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Dan, anything more from you?
Just a big thank you, because that was really great. I think we've never actually, it was the first like really live podcast with a guest from the very beginning, and it was so much fun. And I think we've went from the glam rock band to Fuzz pedals to Fuzz Fantasies and
Fuzz Fantasy
being a responsible artist.
Fuzz Fantasy.
Don't Google
Can that be the title of this podcast? Is Soviet Big Muff Fuzz Fantasy?
It's probably a little bit too long, but we can do the Fuzz Fantasy.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, this has been a super blast. Like, I forgot we were doing a podcast. I thought we were just hanging out talking.
Me too. Yeah, there was a moment where I realized there was a mic in front of me for a reason rather than just chatting to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Andy did a lot today. He sang us a song, and then he told us his dark secret of his Vine Spider-Man days. So yeah. I don't know. I feel like I need to tell a secret.
I'll tell you what, how about we get you on again in a couple of months' time when things have returned to normal and your album is out, and you can tell us all the wonderful things that happened after the album has been released, and you can spend all this time thinking about a super juicy secret.
Yeah. Oh, I probably have a lot.
Yeah. Wow, that's baity. I like that.
I'll definitely be thinking about that. I'd love to come back again. This has been really fun. I'm sorry it wasn't the most like gear, or I feel like we got there a little bit. Like we talked a little bit about guitar.
Absolutely.
I speak for everyone listening when saying you have nothing to apologize for.
Yep.
Okay.
That was a delight, genuinely.
It was a blast.
All right, guys, and thanks so much for listening. And check out Yvette's album coming out June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
4 days after Children's Day.
4 days after Children's Day. Maybe buy it for your children, like pre-order it.
Well, my birthday's on the 10th. You can buy it for my birthday.
Force your children to buy it.
You know, yes. My birthday is June 14th, so we can just purchase it for each other.
Okay. Wait, when's your birthday? Because I'm June 28th.
I'm the 10th.
June 14th, and he's 10th.
So we're all June people. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
Best month ever.
But
Yeah.
are you Gemini?
I am a Cancer.
No, you can't.
Ah,
Are you guys? Are you guys Geminis? I don't know the exact date. Nice.
yeah.
It's so according to astrology, right? We're supposed to hate each other.
Ooh. Well, here comes Yvette's dark secret.
Yeah.
Actually, all my best friends are Geminis. So I don't know if I believe. I don't know if I buy it. Or maybe I'm just a masochist and I just want to be friends with people that I hate.
Now we're there. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, then let's call it a day. Thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and see you soon in the next episode of the Guitar Stars podcast. Bye bye, Andy, and bye bye, Yvette. See you very soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.